Welcome to Modern Main Street for the Local Growth Hub. This is a podcast designed specifically for local business owners to stay on top of marketing and growing their business in today's challenging economy. Hi, I am Lisa Balthaser and I am the host of Modern Main Street. So today we are talking about the local business identity crisis. And if you have a local business, you may be experiencing this. So I want to start by saying that most local businesses don't have a marketing problem right now, they have an identity problem. And the scary part is, most of them don't even realize it yet. They think they're still running the same type of business they started, but the market stopped seeing them the way it did years ago. So let's talk about this today. Um, so, what we are seeing right now is the rules are changing quietly. Nobody's really talking about the rules changing. You need to shift with them. So the rules are changing. AI is accelerating visibility and competition, and customers have changed the way they evaluate businesses, which is really critical and is very important for you to understand right now. So we're going to dive into some of those things today. So here are some of what I see happening today, and this is by no means everything. So there is inflation pressure that is changing buyer behavior. Customers are being more selective and less loyal. So if you counted on repeat business years ago, you could have counted on it, but today you can't. Customers are less loyal than they used to be. Attention is also fragmented across different platforms and different types of platforms. AI is compressing decision making because it's changing the way people search, compare, and review. And these are critical for you to understand. So, business owners are not competing on service alone anymore, they are competing on perception and perception speed. So, if someone cannot understand your value in seconds, in mere seconds, you're already out of consideration. So, let's take a look at that today. Let's start by looking at how local business operated in the past and the evolution of local businesses. So let's walk through the transformation stages one at a time so you can see what I'm talking about. The first stage was traditional local business era. That was the traditional local business era, the word of mouth, location drive location drive-by traffic, location driven traffic, service quality usually meant growth. And that's because people got to know you, they spread the word, and they came because they knew you were good at what you do. And that was how it was years ago. Then we transitioned to the digital marketing era, and most of you are familiar with that. So let's take a look at that a little bit and how that is a little bit different. So instead of it being word of mouth driven, it is more website and ads driven, and social media was heavily relied upon. Attention became a bottleneck because that was the thing, you either won or you didn't with attention. Visibility mattered more than quality alone. So if you were out there and you were in front of people, sometimes that was enough. And you didn't necessarily need to have the highest quality. You might have had to have the ability to spend a lot for ads and marketing and have a beautiful website and things like that. Those things used to attract people, but that is not the case anymore. Because there's been a breakdown of trust, and wariness, basic wariness in our social system. People are a lot more discerning. So that was just a few years ago. You were relying on these things, the website, the ads, social media. But if you were relying on those things and you're still relying on those things, you're probably seeing that they are not working. Or if they are working, they are not working as well as they used to. And that will keep decreasing for several reasons. And we'll talk about some of those. So today, that brings us up to today. And this is what's going on now. And this is the AI and algorithm era. Okay. And that is where discovery is automated, not word of mouth, it's automated. AI summarizes businesses before humans even visit. Now, I want to stop there for a second. Think about what that means. That means when people are searching for your business, AI is coming in and summarizing your business, and either you are what they're looking for or you are not what they're looking for. So either you are part of the AI driven search results or you're not. Okay. So AI is summarizing everything about you, your website, your services, and things like that. And they are feeding back search results to the recipient that may or may not include you, because they are either counting you in or they are counting you out. And I really want you to think about that, because that's important. That's an important concept to understand right now. Also, customers compare instantly across different platforms. So, and that's been happening, but that's happening more so now. And not only different platforms, different types of platforms. Used to be, people would Google you. Now, not so much. Now, Google driven results are a lot lower than they used to be, and AI driven results are much higher. Now, if you remember what I just said, AI summarizes your business before humans ever visit it. Now you can understand why that is so important. Okay. So you are no longer discovered, you are filtered, and that is filtered in or filtered out. So here's what I want you to understand as a core concept. Your old identity used to be kind of what you do or what your business is, such as I run a restaurant, I run a salon, I run a gym, I run a service business. But your new reality is that you need to shift that thinking to one or more of the following. And usually it's more than one. So I want you to consider these things and think about them as I'm going over them, because these are really important for you to understand right now. So instead of I run a restaurant or I own a restaurant or I own whatever business it is that you have, you need to think in terms of these next three things. Number one, if you are a service business, you deliver outcomes directly. So you need to shift your positioning from I run a restaurant or I run a salon to I create the most awesome hairstyles, or I am excellent, I'm the top of the line in cuts. Okay. You need to give the outcome, because that's what people are searching for. Okay. So for service businesses, that's what you need to focus on. If you have a media business, you create visibility, trust, and attention before the sale. You create visibility, trust, and attention before the sale. So it's no longer enough to say you market, you're a marketer, you're a business coach, because they're a dime a dozen. Okay. But you need to shift the focus on the outcome that you provide for your clients. You provide visibility. You build, you help them build trust with their audience. You help them to get attention to their website, to their products and services. Okay. And the third identity is an experience business. Okay. Experience businesses sell memories, emotions, and belonging. Okay. So think about if you are going to, say, one of those escape rooms. Okay. That is an experience, that is a memory, it elicits emotion. Okay. And usually people do go to those places in groups. Okay. So it creates the memories, it builds the belonging. Okay. Now, your business, you may want to think about all three of those. Say you provide a service, say you're in media, and even if you're not in media, you still do marketing. Okay. You still help your clients in some way. Or you're an experience business. So if you provide a service, for instance, okay, say you're a roofing company, okay, and you fix their roofs, or you do their new roof. Okay. Not only does that fall under a service business where you deliver an outcome, it also can fall under an experience business. What was it like to work with your company? So, most businesses are trying to win using only one identity in a world that now requires all three of these identities. People are looking for visibility, trust, attention. They're looking for a specific outcome, and they want the experience. So you have to look at all three as it pertains to your business and figure out how to talk about your business with clarity. So let me break down what's actually happening inside business owners' minds. Many of them think, my marketing used to work, but people aren't responding like they used to. I'm posting more, but I'm getting less. And AI is just confusing everything. I'm not sure whether I'm coming or going. I'm not sure how I should be using it. So let me reframe this for you. If you listen to all of those things and you identified yourself, just know that this is normal. But here's the thing, this is not a failure, it is a mismatch. It is a mismatch between how you think you are positioned and how the market perceives how you're positioned. So there needs to be an adjustment. Your business didn't decline. Your identity stopped matching the market. So you need to readjust. You need to realign and rethink how it is you talk about your business so that there's clarity, you're providing outcomes, you're clear on your audience. People know exactly what they get when they work with you. So I told you we'd talk a little bit about AI. And AI has changed so many things, including your local business and how you market and how you think about things. And we talked a little bit about how AI is constructing a gap between you showing up in searches and or not for your clients. So let's have some real talk about how AI is changing your business. AI is now summarizing businesses before humans arrive. And I talked a little bit about that. So, what AI can get from your website, from your photos, from your social media, AI is taking that information and feeding it through its memory. And you're either going to show up or you're not in searches. Because AI is summarizing your business before your customers ever see your business. Your customers may never see your business because AI is providing businesses who show up clearly and can be summarized by AI agents. I want you to really let that sit. It's really important to understand that. So no longer is SEO important. You have the Ask Economy. You have the AI agents that your customers are just handing questions to, and they're giving them answers. And if you're not showing up there, you're not going to be part of the answer. So AI is summarizing businesses before humans ever arrive. AI is also ranking options based on structured signals. So you need to be very clear with your business, how you help your clients, and the results that you get. AI is also favoring clarity, consistency, and authority. So not only do you have to be clear, you have to be consistent. And I talked about consistency on some of the prior podcasts. Consistency doesn't mean every day, all day. It means at regular intervals, at regular patterns. You need to be in front of on a regular basis. It does not mean daily. It does not mean all the time. It does not mean several times per day. But you do need to have very specific clarity for AI to understand that you are the answer to your customers' ask. And you need to show up with authority, knowing that you are the right person for the job that they're asking for. When this happens, and as this happens, because this is happening already, okay? So what is happening is that vague businesses are disappearing. They're not coming up in searches, and it's a lot harder for vague businesses to get business. Unclear offers get ignored because if they're unclear, the AI agent is not going to pick it up and serve it to the search. And inconsistent messages are losing distribution. Because if you are inconsistent, AI doesn't know what you do. If you're talking about something one day and you're talking about something else the next day, AI doesn't know where to place you in the scheme of things. It doesn't know what your expertise is. So that is why it is more important than ever to be very clear and consistent with your messages so that when you are picked up by the AI agents, it is very clear what you do, who you help, and how you help them. So AI doesn't create the winners. It reveals them faster. And it also reveals the not so strong businesses faster in addition to that. That's why you need to be on top of this. So to summarize, businesses with strong identity get amplified, and businesses that have a weak identity get filtered out. It's all about the filtering now. It's not about so much the finding as the filtering, because if you're filtered out, you are never even part of the answer. So, what I want to do right now is introduce my new identity framework. And these are some questions. This is a framework that you can follow that will help you to establish clear messaging across your brand and your platforms. Modern local businesses must answer 4 different questions. The first question, what do we do? This is a simple service clarity message. The second one is, what do we stand for? And I want you to think about that for a second, because what you stand for helps to build trust. It strengthens your positioning and it clarifies a belief system. So, what is it that you believe in that sets you apart, that makes you different from your competitors? How are you building trust across the platforms? How are you strengthening your positioning for your brand? That's all in what you stand for. That's number 2. Number 3, why should people care now? They may or may not, right? So, why should people care now? So, if you are relevant, okay, if you are relevant to a problem that they have right now, that is why they should care, okay? If you can show them why now is the best time and why they can't wait. So, for instance, I'll give you a for instance here. And here is where painting the picture and storytelling comes in. Okay. Why should they care now? So, for instance, I am sitting here and I am talking to you about the changes that have been happening in the marketplace. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, what do I care? Why is this important now? I can wait till tomorrow. But let me caution you, my friend. You do not want to wait till tomorrow, and I can tell you why. Because all of the statistics I have seen are saying that by next year, things will totally be flip-flopped. You do not have time to sit on your laurels and wait. The time is now to get your message clear, to be clear on who you help, on what you do, and what you stand for. People should care about my messaging now because time is short and things will be changing very quickly within the next 12 to 24 months. And if you don't act quickly, you're going to be left behind or you will no longer have a local business. And I don't want to see that happen. Okay. So, why should people care now has more to do with storytelling, with, really why you're doing what you do. So part of my why is, and I outlined this in one of my, and in my about page on Substack, if you guys are listening on Substack. So one of the things that I care deeply about, and I was thinking about this really hard one day, and why did I change to helping local businesses specifically? Well, let me tell you, and this is about why you should care about me helping you. Because for me, local business is where it's at. Local businesses are so important. Local businesses were part of the infrastructure of my childhood. They were the people that I knew in the community. I knew the business owners in my community growing up in a small town in Pennsylvania. I knew them. And they knew me. I could walk into their store and they would know me, sometimes by name, sometimes not just by recognition, but I would know them. And a lot of the times I would know them by name. I remember there was a corner store about a block from my house, and it used to be the place that I went for candy as a kid, the penny store, the penny candy. And the owner the owner, his name was Sam Fink, to be exact. And everybody in town knew Sam Fink. Okay. And everybody in town knew Fink's, which was the little corner store. It was a tiny, tiny store. But let me tell you, I used to go there all the time as a child, and I have very, very fond memories of going there and of Sam and of him giving us ice cream sometimes. He would give us ice cream. My grandfather would hang out there and talk to him. So I'd go there, and my grandfather would be there with a couple other older gentlemen, and they would be having conversations. And my grandfather would buy me some ice cream or buy me some candy. It was not only a store, not only a local business, it was memories, memories to last a lifetime. And that is the importance of local businesses today. As they are falling off to the big box stores, as they are closing their doors because they can't keep up, they don't have the funds of the big box stores, it hurts my heart, okay? Because they are such an important part of our society, of our communities. They create the memories and the history. And our children and our future generations may lose out on that if local businesses fail. And that is why my heart is with the local businesses, okay? So when people say, why should people care about me helping them? It could be because I have a heart for the local business owners. I care genuinely about their survival. Okay. And you probably have a story about your business and why they should come to you. That's what I'm talking about. Why people should care elicits emotion, urgency, and relevance to their situation. So if what I said to you matters to you, if you could relate to that local mom and pop store that you used to go to as a child, then that is all the reason you need to understand how much I care about local businesses. That's why people should care. So let me go over those three again because I got a little sidetracked telling you that story. But the first question you need to answer is, what do you do? The second is, what do you stand for? And the third is, why people should care. Why people should care. And the fourth question you need to answer is, why you specifically? Why you and not the guy down the street? So this is all about differentiation, proof, and narrative. Okay. So you maybe have testimonials. You maybe have amazing customers that you helped that are raving fans of you. How are you different than the guy down the street? I'll go back to the roofing business. So how are you different than the roofer down the street? Maybe you back up your work. Maybe you guarantee it. Maybe you use better quality materials. How are you different specifically? It's the differentiation. And listen, guys, I created a mini course not long ago. It's called the One Sentence Differentiator. It's only $7. And it's a little mini course, and it helps you to help yourself stand apart from the competition with one sentence. And I walk you through that process in it. If you would like that, just comment below and I will make sure you get it, or you can check it out on my Substack or my website. But the one sentence differentiator helps you to stand out from the competition and be the reason people choose you. If you cannot answer these questions that we went over clearly, your marketing will always feel like noise. It's never going to be clear. So I want you to think of a new identity for your business and shift your identity. So you are not what you sell anymore. You're not what you sell anymore. You are the way people understand what you sell. And this is more the truth now than it ever was before. It's not what you say you do, it's how others perceive what you do, basically. So it's not what you sell, it's the way other people understand what you sell. That's what you need to be thinking about right now. So let's bring this back around as we close out the podcast today. This is not about the collapse of the local business, because that's not happening. It is an evolution, and you need to evolve. It's not a collapse, it's an evolution. Local businesses are still essential, as I pointed out. You don't want that to be lost. I know you don't. In fact, I believe local businesses are the backbones of our community, and I love local businesses. Communities still need them more than ever to create the memories, have meeting places, to offer recommendations. I remember going into one of the clothing stores, and they would always recommend things when I went in there. The local town clothing store was amazing, and they always have beautiful things to recommend. Collaboration. Local businesses create community, and community creates collaboration. And local businesses also help trust. And, as I mentioned, the story from my childhood, I'll never forget that. And if Sam think, I know he's passed away now, but if I ever saw him again, I have nothing but fond memories for him. He built trust in the community in a way that most local businesses are really challenged to do today. Visibility rules have changed, and so must your local business. So if business feels harder than it used to, it's not because the opportunity is gone. It's because the identity you're operating under is outdated. And you need to update that identity for modern Main Street. And if you want deeper conversation around modernization, systems, and clarity, I invite you to join me in my school group, the Local Growth Hub. The Local Growth Hub is a place where business owners can realign, reevaluate their identity, their marketing, and create systems for the new economy. So I invite you to join me there. But if not, subscribe to my Substack, to my podcast, and stop back for more of this, because we will dig deeper into the things that are going on with the economy and the new economy and how to navigate your way through it, because it is possible. It may feel challenging today, but that's why I created this podcast, to help you navigate it and to get through it. And that's why we're here. Thanks so much for listening today. Have a great day.